Have you ever wondered why some people seem perfectly fine, walking, smiling, going about their morning, and then, within minutes of waking up, they collapse, never to wake again? I've been a physician for over 30 years, caring for thousands of patients, most of them over the age of 50. And one truth has become painfully clear to me: the morning hours are the most fragile hours of our lives. Picture this: you open your eyes after a long night's sleep. Your body is still half dreaming. Your heart begins to beat faster. Blood pressure rises to prepare you for the day. And your stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, start flooding your system. For younger people, that's no problem. Their arteries are flexible, their reflexes sharp. But for someone over 50, those blood vessels are stiffer, the plaques thicker, the sensors slower. A sudden spike in pressure, or just a few seconds without enough oxygen, can be all it takes to trigger a stroke. One of my patients, Thomas, 67, once told me, "Doctor, I felt nothing unusual." That morning, I stood up to make coffee, and the next thing I knew, the room spun and went black. He was lucky. It was just a mini stroke, a transient ischemic attack, but not everyone is that lucky. What I want you to understand is this stroke isn't just about genetics, age, or high blood pressure. It's built from tiny, everyday habits, especially the ones we repeat each morning. A cup of coffee before water, a salty breakfast, a rush of stress the moment you wake up, all of them quietly add up. But here's the good news: you are not powerless. With a few mindful changes, you can cut your stroke risk in half and start your mornings in a way that truly protects your brain, your heart, and your independence. So, stay with me. In the next few minutes, we'll walk together through 5 of the most dangerous morning triggers for stroke, and more importantly, I'll show you how to turn those risky moments into your strongest protection. Sometimes, all it takes is one mindful minute each morning to save a lifetime. Now, let's begin our journey together, starting with the first and most silent danger of the morning: the sudden rise in blood pressure right after you wake up. You see, as dawn breaks, another sunrise happens inside your body. Your stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, start waking up your heart, your lungs, your brain. For younger people, their arteries are flexible, their sensors quick. But as we age, those blood vessels stiffen, the walls lose their elasticity. When blood pressure spikes too quickly, even for a few seconds, it can tear a tiny plaque inside the artery, forming a clot that travels straight to the brain. I remember a patient, Helen, 72 years old. One morning, she jumped out of bed to answer the phone. Within seconds, she felt the room spin and collapsed. Her MRI later showed a tiny blockage in the middle cerebral artery, triggered by a sudden surge in blood pressure. Since that day, she calls her new habit the 60-second rule. She lies still for a few breaths, sits up slowly and places her feet on the floor, and takes one more deep breath before standing. Just 1 minute to give her brain the oxygen it deserves. So, if you're watching this, remember, don't rush your mornings. Let your body catch up with your mind. Sometimes, a minute of patience can save a lifetime of speed. Ready? Let's move on to the second cause, something that almost everyone does right after waking up. Let's move on to the second cause, and I have to tell you, this one surprises almost everyone I meet. Every morning, when I ask my patients, "What's the first thing you drink after waking up?" they smile and say, "Coffee, of course." And I get it. That smell, that warmth, that comfort, it's a ritual, a moment of peace. But here's what most people don't realize after 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Your body is quietly dehydrated. You've spent all night breathing out moisture, sweating a little, and not taking in a single drop. Your brain, made of 75% water, feels that loss first. Your blood becomes thicker, like syrup instead of water. Now, imagine this: you wake up dehydrated, and instead of replenishing your body, you reach for coffee. Coffee tells your kidneys to release more water, making you even more dehydrated. And caffeine tightens your blood vessels and speeds up your heart. Thicker blood, tighter arteries, faster heartbeat. That combination is like morning traffic in your bloodstream, crowded, tense, and one wrong move away from a crash. I once had a patient, Mr. Raymond, who used to drink 2 cups of coffee before anything else. One day, he fainted on his porch. His blood pressure dropped suddenly because his brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. It wasn't the caffeine alone, it was the dehydration that pushed him over the edge. The solution is simple, but powerful. Water first, always. Keep a glass of room temperature water by your bedside. Drink it the moment you wake up, before coffee, before breakfast, even before your medications. Give your blood a chance to flow freely again. Then, after 10 or 15 minutes, enjoy your coffee. You don't have to give it up, just change the order. That small change can lower your morning stroke risk more than you might imagine. It's not just a habit, it's a quiet act of self-respect for your brain and your heart. So, take a deep breath, drink your water, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the third cause, one that often hides in your sleep. Now, let's take a gentle step into the third cause, one that doesn't happen while you're awake, but while you're asleep. It's something I've seen in hundreds of my patients, especially those over 50, and it's called sleep apnea, when your breathing quietly stops and starts many times through the night. I want you to imagine this. You're lying peacefully in bed, maybe even snoring a little, but deep inside, your oxygen level is dropping. Your brain senses danger, it gasps, your heart races, your blood pressure spikes. Then it all quiets again. This cycle can repeat hundreds of times a night. And every time it happens, your blood vessels take a beating. The inner walls, the endothelium, get inflamed, the arteries stiffen, and tiny clots start to form. The result: you wake up in the morning with higher blood pressure, a pounding heart, and a brain that's been starved of oxygen all night. I had a patient, Linda, 64. She told me, "Doctor, I sleep 8 hours but wake up exhausted." Her husband said she stopped breathing dozens of times a night. After testing, she was diagnosed with moderate sleep apnea. Once she began treatment just using a small CPAP machine at night, her morning headaches disappeared, her energy returned, and her blood pressure finally stabilized. So if you snore loudly, feel tired even after a full night's sleep, or wake up gasping for air, please, don't ignore it. Get tested. Sleep apnea is not just about snoring, it's about protecting your brain from oxygen starvation. Fixing your sleep is one of the most powerful stroke preventions you can give yourself. Now, take a deep breath with me. Feel that air filling your lungs. That's what your brain craves every night. And with that thought, let's move to the fourth cause, the one that strikes the moment you open your eyes. Now, let's talk about the fourth cause, one that doesn't come from food or sleep or even water. It comes from something far quieter, your thoughts. Every morning, before you even get out of bed, your brain releases a hormone called cortisol, the wake-up chemical. It's nature's alarm clock, helping your body prepare for the day. But when life feels heavy, when stress becomes a habit, cortisol stops being a friend and turns into a quiet poison. I see it every day. People open their eyes and the first thing they do, grab the phone, check the news, the emails, the arguments waiting online. And just like that, their heart rate jumps, blood pressure spikes, and their mind starts running a marathon before their feet even touch the floor. I had a patient once, a retired teacher, who told me, "Doctor, I don't even need coffee anymore. My phone wakes me up better than caffeine." And she was right. But that kind of awakening comes with a cost. Chronic morning stress raises inflammation, damages blood vessels, and makes your arteries stiff. It's like starting your car and flooring the gas pedal before the engine warms up. So what can you do? Create what I call a no-stress buffer zone. The first 15 minutes after waking, no screens, no news, no noise, just breathe, stretch. Look out the window. Maybe whisper a small prayer. One of my patients sits by her window every morning with a cup of warm water, just watching the sun rise. She told me, "Doctor, that's my therapy." And she's right. It's free, it's peaceful, and it works. You don't need an app or a mantra, just silence. Because in silence, your heart finds rhythm again, and your brain finally breathes. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, reach for your breath. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. That's the sound of your brain healing. When you can do that, you're ready for the fifth and final cause, the one that hides on your breakfast table. And now, we've arrived at the fifth and final cause, the one that quietly hides on your breakfast table. Most people think they're eating healthy, whole grain toast, cereal, maybe a little cheese or sausage. Sounds good. Right. But here's the catch. Most of these healthy foods are packed with hidden salt. Your body naturally wakes up with higher blood pressure in the morning. It's part of your circadian rhythm. When you add sodium on top of that, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. More sodium pulls extra water into your blood vessels. That increases blood volume, raises pressure, and puts tremendous strain on your arteries and heart. Over time, this leads to inflammation, plaque buildup, and yes, stroke. I remember a man named Patrick, 69, who proudly told me, "Doctor, I only eat oatmeal for breakfast." But when I asked what kind, he said the flavored kind, maple and brown sugar. Those little packets had almost half his daily sodium limit. So, what's the solution? Become a sodium detective? Read your labels? Choose plain oats instead of flavored ones. Add bananas or berries, they're rich in potassium. Nature's antidote to salt. Try swapping sausage for a boiled egg with avocado or spinach. Or replace cottage cheese with plain Greek yogurt. Small swaps, big impact. And please, don't skip breakfast. When you skip it, your blood sugar and stress hormones spike later in the day, which can be just as dangerous. A light, balanced breakfast is like giving your heart a gentle push instead of a hard shove. Remember, this breakfast isn't just fuel. It's your first message to your body, telling it how you want your day and your health to unfold. So as you sit down tomorrow morning, look at your plate and ask, am I feeding my body or my habits? And that question, my friend, might just save your life. So, we've reached the end of our journey through the 5 silent dangers of the morning, each of them small, familiar, almost invisible, but together, they decide the fate of your brain and your heart. Remember, you don't have to change everything overnight. Just one mindful habit each morning, one gentle choice can change everything. Because health isn't built in hospitals. It's built in moments, quiet, ordinary moments like the way you start your morning. From the bottom of my heart, if you've made it this far, thank you, truly. It tells me that you care not just about living longer, but about living better. You see, I've spent my life in hospitals' bright lights, cold halls, monitors beeping, and I can tell you this. The real medicine isn't always found there. It's found in the quiet choices you make each morning, when you slow down before standing up, when you drink that glass of water before your coffee, when you choose peace over rush. That's not just prevention. That's wisdom. That's self-respect. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s live sharper, brighter lives than some in their 40s because they learned to listen to their bodies. So, my friend, take care of your mornings, and your mornings will take care of you. If this message spoke to you, if it made you pause and think, please give it a like. It helps more people find this knowledge right when they need it most. Share it with someone you love because you never know whose morning it might save. And if you'd like to keep learning with me about your brain, your heart, and the small habits that protect them, subscribe to this channel. We're building a quiet community of people who still believe in taking care of themselves. I'm Dr. Live Well Daily, and remember, every sunrise is another chance to start gently, wisely, and alive. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.